wind is very, very favoring us. Look, we're doing 124 knots. Now,
3043, turn left heading 29.
as we're burning fuel, what do you think is going to happen with the weight of the aircraft?
Lighter.
Lighter. As the aircraft gets lighter, do you think it's going to fly faster or slower?
Faster.
Faster. So, I don't know the prediction yet. Remember, we checked the winds aloft forecast, and as the night goes in, the wind is better and better. We're getting better and better push. Okay? It's very possible that we'll be able to get to New York nonstop tonight, but I'm not sure yet. We'll see how the progress is.
Sounds like a plan. You hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you loud and clear. Look how long we're up in the air.
4697,
55 minutes, right?
21012 overcast at 2000.
Look how long it's going to take us to get to Richmond, to Republic.
7 hour, 1 minute.
6 hours and 6 minutes.
7 hour, 1 minute altogether.
Altogether, 7 hour, 1 minute.
Maintain 3000. Let me know what you want.
Look at the fuel burn. What's the fuel burn?
4697, fly heading 290, maintain 3000.
9
gallons an hour.
An hour?
Correct.
Right, obviously an hour.
And
okay. So let's calculate.
They're reporting 1 mile vis.
9 gallons an hour.
2,100 overcast, heavy rain. The wind's 210 at 110.
No, 7 hours.
No, are we already?
1 hour up in the air, plus 6 hours and 2 minutes.
I know, you don't want to calculate from now?
No, for now, we don't know how much fuel we had. I know we had 80 gallons because we topped it off.
It doesn't show full?
It shows full, but we already burned some fuel because we're up in the air for an hour.
8.3 CL.
All right, gotcha. Okay.
So 9 gallons an hour. Simple math. 9 gallons an hour. 7 hours of flight. How do we know how much fuel
Envoy 3521 Jackson
is going to take us?
9 approach course.
9 times 7. What you got?
45?
No, 9 times 7?
4697, turn right heading 360. I'm going to keep on
definitely not 45.
Let me know what you want to do.
9 times 7. 63 gallons?
There you go. Now you're talking. Now, don't forget, the wind's going to get better. The speed's going to get better.
Got 2 aircraft coming in once.
And the fuel's going to get less because as we're lighter, we can slow down further and take full advantage of the tailwind.
Unless you had a request.
So worst case scenario, we got 63 gallons to get to New York nonstop.
3521.
You got 80 gallons?
We got 80 gallons. What's the minimum fuel reserve we need at night? VFR, not IFR. Let's assume we're VFR. What's the minimum fuel reserve we need at night?
No idea.
It's in your book.
I didn't get the...
45 minutes.
Gotcha.
What's the fuel burn?
9 gallons an hour.
9 gallons an hour.
To the northeast.
45 minutes is 0.75
yeah,
9 gallons an hour.
Relatively northeast.
It's about 6.5 gallons.
Slowly. It's
so all we need is 6.5 gallons reserve, which will bring us to 70. And we still have an extra 10 gallons.
4697, turn.
One more thing.
110.
What happens is we're descending.
We're going to be burning more fuel, no?
Less fuel.
Envoy 35, good correction.
Because when you're descending, you throttle back. As you're throttling back, the fuel burn goes lower.
Okay.
But if you keep straight and level flight,
maybe Lima 8,
lower altitude,
you're going to burn more.
You're going to burn more.
Good more. One more thing can work against us.
Maybe Lima 8.
If we start having a little bit of headache and hypoxia and stuff here at 11,000 feet, we may have to go down to 9, less tailwind. So there's a lot of variables. We'll file to Richmond. Definitely get to Richmond because Richmond is 3.5 hours. Piece of cake. However, we can always divert and talk to the controller when we get closer to Richmond and tell the controller, yeah, Skywagon 1 more, you might. Good evening. Yes, sir. We're looking at fuel burn and our final destination is Republic Airport. Any way we can proceed direct to Republic? And he'll tell us, yeah, go ahead, to proceed direct to Republic. Boom, we go direct to New York.
I'm a 344 Tango, contact Daytona approach, 125.8 so on.
Okay? So far, it's looking good. We don't know what's going to happen because at 9 gallons an hour, cruising at 124 knots is amazing. Very, very efficient. Now, let's assume
heading 020.
Right now, we're cruising at 70 knots on the ground speed. What does that mean? Our indicated airspeed is 100, but our ground speed, GS, is 70 knots. What does that mean?
70, that means that you're burning more fuel.
That's true. But what is that telling you about your headwind or tailwind situation?
You don't have a headwind.
No more tailwind. Yeah, we actually have headwind.
Headwind.
Check the weather here. This could be a thunderstorm. We may have to turn left around it. So it may get a little bumpy around this thing. Keep an eye on it. See? Got radar on board. We can actually see what's going on. As we're heading north towards Virginia and New York, there's scattered stuff here and there, but as we're getting north, it gets better and better. And look, when we get way up north,
483, the previous
absolutely nothing up here.
Arrival is not diverted to Jackson National. Yeah, it looks like that final there, and the whole airport's getting engulfed. If you have
you really know your way around this GPS?
I've been doing this many times. I've been doing this a lot of times.
So this is autopilot, but technically you telling it.
Yeah. I'm looking. Yeah, because you see, I'm looking at the needles and the GPS, and I see that it's moving a little bit. So I adjust it. I push the knob and push it right or left as necessary. You can go ahead and do it because that's what I'm doing.
But just for the LS runway 14 final approach course when able, fly.
So you can do the same thing.
Discretion maintain 6,000.
No, it's moving to the left. We're going to move it to the left. Moving to the right. Move. Now they're pretty much centered. All three of them centered. This is a little bit more precise. You know why this is more precise? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 satellites. We have 11 satellites here, giving us an accuracy of 10 feet.
Wow.
Up in the air with the satellites. Up to 10 feet.
Contact Jacksonville Center on 124.67. We'll see you.
2467, 1 Romeo Mike. So, good evening, Jacksonville Skywagon 1 Romeo Mike. Level 1000, Victor 437.
Now that it's on autopilot.
You ready to fly?
No, I'm saying if it's an autopilot and I want to do manually, I gotta shut it off or can I move?
You gotta shut it off, yeah.
Must.
Yeah, you can't override because the autopilot has servos. It's got an aileron servo, which actually controls the roll.
Okay.
And it's got a horizontal stabilizer servo. You see that lightning over there? Looks like that's the weather right there. And there's a horizontal stabilizer servo which controls the pitch. And you look up those two lights when they turn on and off, the autopilot has altitude hold mode and it's actually controlling the servo to maintain your altitude. So it's adjusting as necessary.
So in order to shut it, you gotta shut it down, off.
Yep. You can put it off here, you can put it off here, your discretion.
What's the difference?
It's the same thing. This will keep it on standby mode. This will completely shut it off. You got to disconnect if you're doing an instrument approach and you don't want to touch anything here. You want to keep your hand on the throttle. You can actually push it here and you can disconnect it here from here, this button. Ready to do some hand flying or not yet? This was a good lesson though. What we did here with the fuel burn and everything, that's very, very good.
What's the difference?
What's the difference? This is actually to adjust the whole ring. This is only for the heading book. But it's pretty much on it now. Maybe a little bit more this way. That's it. Pretty much heading north. See? Needle center, needle center, needle center.
How did the GPS know what route we're taking?
A little bit of tweaking up here on the... Okay, go ahead. How does the GPS...
How did the GPS know what route we are taking?
We just plugged it in, remember? All the checkpoints?
I know, but it has on the map, it has a few different routes. We could go right, left, no?
On the map? Here, on this map?
It has a few different routes.
On this map?
Yeah. Am I wrong? What's if I want to go, for argument's sake, if...
Oh, remember when we did on the ground, we found the preferred route, we put the preferred flight route?
Right.
We put the preferred flight route, that's actually what was preferred, and that's what we found with Flight Service Station. So if that's what we found with Flight Service Station, that's the preferred, that's what they gave us on the flight plan. Remember?
So if I tell them I'm going...
When we filed, we put all this.
Alright, I
Ormond Beach, for Victor 437, all that good stuff.
So if I tell the GPS I'm going from this point to this point, it'll know already one route.
Correct. We already plugged it in, remember? We put the flight plan and you put all the checkpoints.
Correct.
Same thing. All the checkpoints we put here on the GPS, that was on the flight plan. Sometimes they reroute you and they give you a different flight plan, so you got to look at the map and we change it. But I like the night flying because usually at night they're very flexible. They actually let you fly what you filed, so it's more precise.
And if you need to change it, how would you change it?
How would you change what?
The flight plan over here.
Oh, you gotta go flight plan, menu, stop navigation, and then do the whole thing again.
All over.
All over again.
What about the ones that you passed?
Oh, one that you passed is behind us, that's it.
It's over.
Yeah, behind us.
No, when I start... When you start your new leg, you start from where you're at.
Oh, if you do, yeah, it's where you're at and on. It's not gonna go unless...
You don't have to...
you don't have to go to Orlando, no. But unless you want to put it in, you can put it in and it'll have the Orlando in there. It depends on how you want to put it. There's your flight plan. Keep it in there so you have it. You put it here. Your phone is here. It's still here, right? Where you put your phone?
Phone is here, yes.
Okay, good. We do a little bit of paperwork.
I didn't put it on flight mode.
What? Flight phone?
Flight mode.
What's flight phone?
Flight mode. Flight mode.
Oh, flight mode. Yeah, I just shut off my phone. At 11,000 has not much reception, so.
Oh, it just drains more battery.
23, yeah, it drains the battery. I got to charge it for you if you want. 23 gallons of fuel and 1 quart of oil. That's what we put. That's good. Now, to document, you see? Next oil change due is 3442. They did the 100-hour inspection at 3417. So next 100-hour inspection is going to be at 3517. So 3417 plus 50 hours for oil change is 3467. Annual due will be September 2015. We'll do a quick VOR check. With Ormond Beach. And to do a VOR check, you basically center the needle on both of these. Just like so. And you check if they're within 4 degrees. Are they within 4 degrees of each other?
Yeah. Definitely.
So it looks like 360 degree radial. So I can put 360 degree radial, 360 degrees radial, 1 and 2. Pedostatic was inspected on the 100-hour inspection. which was September 2014. ELT was inspected also on the 100-hour inspection. And GPS data, you can check it out here if you go on the menu. Database information. And looks like July 2014. Now, you go ahead and get your private pilot's license and you buy your own airplane for private use, no commercial operation. What are the required inspections you have to do with the airplane when you purchase an airplane privately?
They're annual, no?
You need to do an annual inspection. How often you do an annual inspection?
Yes, once a year.
Once a year. So if I did an annual inspection on this airplane September 2014 on the 28th of the month, how long is that 100-hour inspection good for?
100-hour inspection?
Excuse me, annual inspection. How long is that annual inspection good for?
Till September 20th, 2015.
That's right.
Is there any grace period that they give you?
It will be good until the end of the month of September. You can go ahead, push this and adjust it, you know, cross-check to keep those needles set. So. Oh, we're pretty far from the coastline, huh? Look. See the coastline? Peel up. Okay. Pretty far out.
Yeah.
Yep.
So now, this is to the right, so you gotta turn it to the right.
Yep, just a little bit. Not this needle. Not this needle, the other one.
This one?
Yeah, push and turn right a little bit. The autopilot's following this needle. The heading bug. That's what the autopilot's following.
I need more right now.
Maybe tiny bit, just a little bit.
So what is this? This is the fuel mixture?
This is the mixture control, yeah. You see this EGT? If you want to be a little bit more precise, this is your EGT. See, exhaust gas temperature? It's at 500 degrees right now. If you want to do it really precise, you look at the book. Which is here.
500 degrees it's burning?
500 degrees. It's exhaust gas temperature. This is a little probe on the exhaust pipe that's measuring the exhaust gas temperature. This is the exact gas temperature that's coming of the power plant.
Why would I care about the exhaust
That's
temperature?
in order to lead the mixture properly. If you look at the cruise chart here,
Gotta turn it to the left,
a
right?
little bit left, tiny bit, but not too bad. Because this is almost center. You don't have to be that precise.
Bless ya.
Last year,
Alright.
trying to figure out that,
That lead mixture.
as a cruise, yeah, I want to teach you the cruise how to lean.
Bless ya. One more time.
Too much Hooters!
Yeah.
Too much Hooters in Orlando. Man, we had a good waitress.
Yeah, we did.
I like all the love signs on the receipt. No wonder why she got a good tip. Okay, I want to show you how to do a cruise checklist properly.
After this, I want to go over the instruments again.
Yeah. Listen. All you have to do is tell me. Let me relax. I'll give you a couple of pillows. Relax. Until you tell me I want to relax, it's going to be pumping information like crazy.
I don't think I want to relax at this point.
Okay. You want to just absorb as much?
Yeah.
Okay, so we're just going to keep on going, okay? Cruise. Normal cruising is performed between 55 and 75% power. The corresponding power setting and fuel consumption for various altitudes can be determined by using your Cessna Power computer or the operational data in section 4. Note, cruising should be done at 65 to 75% power until 50 hours has accumulated or oil consumption is stabilized. This airplane has 600 hours already, this motor.
What is that?
This is rain. We're going into weather. You see here?
Yeah.
Now, when we're going into weather like this, and you're at 11,000 feet, this is the weather. What you want to do is check the outside air temperature.
Outside air temperature.
Correct. How do we know the outside air temperature? There's a temperature gauge here. Tell me what you see. You can turn your light on.
42 and a half?
Okay, 42.5 degrees Fahrenheit.
Okay.
How much is 42.5 degrees Fahrenheit in Celsius?
No idea.
Okay? In order to know that,
This thing is like turning and turning.
we can shut it off. In order to know that, there's a temperature conversion chart. I think it's in the back of the book, but I'm not sure. We'll see. It's basically 8 degrees Celsius.
8 degrees.
Correct. 8 degrees Celsius. Anytime you're in visible
What's that,
moisture.
42. This is 42 degrees Fahrenheit?
Yeah, it's 42 Fahrenheit. Yeah. It's about 42 degrees Fahrenheit.
What do you see Fahrenheit? What do you see F?
The top ring is Fahrenheit.
Okay, so the
The bottom is Celsius.
is about 8, you're right.
About 8 degrees Celsius. Anytime you're in visible moisture, which is rain, just like what we had now, with a temperature below 10 degrees Celsius, this is talking a lot about weather now. You're in visible moisture, temperature below 10 degrees Celsius, you're exposed to icing. Okay?
You gotta put the heat for the, what's it called?
Heat for what's it called what?
The heat for the wings?
There's no heat for the wings. There's no heat for the windows. There's heat for the...
For the vents.
Which vents?
The vents for the airspeed altimeter.
Oh, you've been studying. The vent for the airspeed altimeter is actually called pitot heat. Look here, you see?
Pitot heat.
Pitot heat.
Put it up.
Yeah, put it up. You see the voltage coming down? It was 14.2, now it's 14.1. You know it's working.
This is connected to the plane?
Absolutely, it's giving you voltage.
Ow.
This cigarette lighter is coming from the alternator from the airplane.
Gotcha.
So I know the voltage. So I put the pitot heat off, voltage is going to come up.
Gotcha. We don't need it anymore. We're in the green, no?
Yeah, it looks like it was a little bit of rain and that's it. So we're done.
So below 10 Celsius?
Anytime you're flying in visible moisture, it doesn't have to be rain. Can be clouds, can be mist, can be precipitation, light precipitation. Doesn't have to be any thunderstorm or anything. Invisible moisture could be fog too.
Okay.
You're flying in the fog.
Okay.
Any visible moisture between below 10 degrees Celsius, you're exposed to icing. When you're exposed to icing, you want to put the pitot heat on.
Pitot heat.
Correct. What's going to happen if the pitot heat is not on?
You're not going to get the right altimeter.
Not really the altimeter.
And the airspeed.
Airspeed indicator is going to start lying. It's going to show slower than what you're supposed to be. And what you're going to do is push the nose down. You push the nose down, you're going to end up overspeeding, and you're going to know absolutely no clue what your indicated airspeed is. You can cross-check your indicator airspeed with the ground speed, and it'll tell you what your ground speed. So you can tell, there's no way I'm going that slow. I'm doing 114 on the ground speed, so there's probably something wrong with the instrument. But why get into a situation where this is going to zero and scare the hell out of you? Put the pitot heat on. It will heat up the pitot, and the airspeed indicator will be accurate. Back to cruise. This is ensure proper seating of the rings applicable. That's 50 hours. The cruise performance table on the following range illustrate the true airspeed in miles per gallon during cruise for various altitude and percent per hours. Table should be used as a guide along with available winds aloft information to determine the most favorable altitude and power setting for a given trip, okay?
Basically.
The table, the winds aloft, will determine the most favorable altitude and power setting for a given trip. The trip you're doing today is Florida to New York. We have to really refer to this because we want to make sure we're the most efficient, especially if we want to make this a non-stop flight. So, let's continue reading. The selection of cruise altitude on the basis of most favorable wind conditions, the use of low power settings, and significant factors should be considered on every trip to reduce fuel consumption. We always think about fuel consumption. If you're going to be flying a propeller, you're going to think about fuel consumption.
Less and more.
Yep, we're going to balance it up a little bit. If you're going to be flying a jet engine, it's even more pronounced because this trip can be 60, 70 gallons on the prop. If you're doing this trip with a jet, you're going to look at between 600 and 1,000 gallons of gas.
Wow.
Because jets burn much more gas, okay? So, back to here. Low power setting significant factor to consider every trip to reduce fuel consumption. Now, for reduced noise level, it is desirable to select the lowest RPM in the green arc range for a given percent power that will provide smooth engine operation. I know this airplane very well. It's very smooth at 1900, and that's what I picked. I picked 1900. Okay? Cruise performance data is manual, and power computer is based on extended range mixture setting with approximately 1 gallon per hour less than the best power mixture setting. This extended range mixture setting results in 1 mile per hour speed loss and an average increase of 6% in range when compared to best power mixture setting. For best fuel economy at 55% or less, the engine may be operated at 1 gallon per hour leaner than shown in this manual and on the power computer. This will result in approximately 6% greater range than shown in the cruise and approximately 4 miles an hour decrease in speed. Fuel injection system used on this engine is considered to be non-icing. In the event that unusual conditions cause the intake air filter to become clogged or iced over, an alternate intake air valve opens automatically for the most efficient use of either normal or alternate air depending on the amount of filter blockage. Okay, so if for an icy condition and it blocks, it's going to open up another vent inside the engine compartment and you're going to get alternate air in case you're in icing condition. Exhaust gas temperature, EGT, as shown on the optional Cessna economy mixture indicator, may be used in an old 8 mixture leaning and cruising flight 75% power or less, with below 75%. To adjust the mixture,
how do you know if it's 75 or 55?
I know because you cannot go more than 75% power at 11,000 feet. The maximum you can do at 11,000 feet.
I understand you know you can't go more than 75, but how do you know you're at 75? That just
how do you know? You look at the table. I'll show you. It's getting a little bit too cold. It's 500. We're going to go to 8 gallons an hour now. See what the EGT does. It's going up. Look it up, it's going up. It's going to go all the way up to about 600.
the exhaust heat.
Yeah, it's warming up now. Okay, this is your cruise power total, 10,000. Maximum you can get is 70% power at 10,000 feet. Can't get more than that. And right now, we're cruising at about 8 gallons an hour. So we're at like 40% power. Very low power setting. Okay, climb up to 575. We're going to lean it more now. See the engine running rough? No good. Switching it up a little bit. So this is the PKGT. PKGT now is 575. What we want to do is richen it up another 50 degrees. So we're going to go to 9 gallons an hour. And it's going to go down to about 525. If it went below 525, we're going to lean it up a little more.
When you say lean, you're adding more oxygen?
You're reducing the amount of fuel compared to the air outside. That's lean. Leaning is reducing the amount of air compared to fuel. Reducing the amount of fuel compared to air. That's leaning. What's it saying now?
Almost 550, no? 525?
About 525 or so. Okay? So PKGT was 575. Now, best power is PKGT minus 100 degrees. So PKGT, best power is 575. Now we're 50. We have to actually richen it up more. For 475. Extended range, PKGT minus 50 degrees Fahrenheit, which is where we are right now. We're in extended range. For best economy, we can actually go to PKGT. So we're going to lean it an extra further to about 8 gallons an hour. And you see the EGT coming up slowly? And that's going to be PKGT. I like the middle of the pack. I don't like PKGT minus 100. I don't like PKGT minus PKGT. I like PKGT minus 50 degrees. And we can't go more than 575. Looks like 575 is the peak. Alright? So we're going to bring it up to about 525, which is 50 degrees